Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to a very special interview of the Final Cut Podcast. And today I have a very special guest. She is an actress. She starred in various TV shows in England, but she is well known as playing Holly Barton in Emmerdale. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Sophie Powles.
Hi, Dina.
Yeah. Hi, Sophie. First, so I suppose the inevitable question is, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much. I'll just get straight into it. You obviously played Holly Barton on Emmerdale, and she didn't have an easy life, did she? There was always some drama with her. So, as an actress, how challenging was it for you?
Firstly, Emmerdale was the best 3.5 years of my life. I really loved every minute of it. And I was really so lucky to work with the best cast and crew, the most hard-working cast and crew. And I learned so much on that job. And then obviously I had the amazing opportunity to play Holly Barton, which was just a dream role to play, really. Obviously it was very harrowing and very hard, but I think it was a really important storyline, and hopefully, I know from speaking to people, it helped a lot of people and raised a lot of awareness of addiction, especially in young people. So yeah, I think it was really hard, but worth every minute, and yeah, I just loved it.
So obviously being an actress, I'm assuming you did your homework for the storyline you were in. So how much time did you actually have to prepare for it, for each storyline you were in?
We had the most amazing producer, who's sadly no longer with us anymore, but he took me into the office and just said, we're thinking of doing a storyline where Holly will develop an addiction with heroin, but they wanted me to feel really supported and have all the support and help I needed to tell the story as best as I could and as authentic as possible and as truthful as possible. And the producer was Gavin Blythe, who was the most amazing man. And honestly, Gavin and the team just gave me so much help and support and guidance. They put me in touch with a drugs counsellor called Danny, who's an amazing man. He was working for a charity called DISC. I worked one-on-one with a heroin addict and her mum, and as a family, on-screen family, we all went and had a meeting. The addict that I was working with was very open and honest with me and gave me as much information as she could. And yeah, it was great just to have Danny or another member of the team on the end of the phone at any point to ask questions. And if I wasn't sure how to play something, or how Holly would feel after taking a drug, or where I'd be in my journey with withdrawal, all I had to do was ring Danny or a member of the team, and they'd guide me through it and help me and just give me so much help and advice. And I think that's why it was so authentic and real and truthful. And yeah, we just wanted to tell it right because it's such an important story.
Yep. First rule of drama is always try and make it as lifelike as possible. I actually admire that.
Oh, thank you.
So, obviously as an actress, there is a challenge, like you've just said, about playing Holly, who was a drug addict, and she was addicted to heroin. So, whatever role you've taken on, what has been the easiest and the hardest to prepare for?
I think no job's ever easy, really, because I care so much.
Yeah.
There's so much. I think there's never been one that's felt easy. I think it felt fun, and I felt very grateful and lucky to do it, but it's never been easy.
Yeah.
I suppose the hardest job I've ever had to do was probably a musical I did last year, and that was really scary to sing on stage for the first time in a long time and dance. So you're not just thinking about acting, you're also singing and dancing and acting at the same time. So there's a lot going into it. You don't just have to remember your lines, but you have to remember choreography and lyrics and music and come in at the right time and not miss the beat. And which, that was probably the hardest because there was a lot of pressure. But yeah, it was so fun and I loved every minute.
So you were nervous basically, but once you got into a stride of it, you were perfectly fine with it.
Oh, I'm always nervous, Dino. Before I go on stage, I'm so nervous. But the minute I get on stage or on set, I'm fine.
I'm always nervous, so I know how you feel.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as I've continually stated, you're an actress. Do you tend to go for a certain role, or are you open to new challenges?
I love a challenge. I just love storytelling. I love being given the opportunity to play different characters and important stories. So yeah, I'm really open to, well, anything really. I just love the opportunity to do what I love. So yeah.
And it's not just Emmerdale you've been in. Like I previously said, you've started in DL and Pasco and Hobby City. Is there any shows you'd like to go on, that you haven't done before?
Oh, where do I start? I just think, especially in the UK at the moment, well, all over the world, there's just the most incredible dramas at the moment, drama series, and just to be part of any of them. There's some amazing British dramas that have been on, some comedy series that are Staff Let Flats is probably one of my favourite comedy series. I think it's so funny. So to work with Jamie Dimitri or Natasha, that would just be amazing. I don't know. If there's any like amazing British drama series or American drama series or anything, even Orthodox, it was to be honest, I've been blown away, especially in lockdown, with the amount of incredible talent on TV and the amazing drama series and the storytelling and everything, the writing, the direction, the cast, the crew. I've just been blown away, to be honest. So I think to be a part of any new or pre-existing drama series would be a real dream of mine.
Oh, but if I was to say to you, Luther with Idris Elba, would you be up for it straight away?
Absolutely, I loved that, especially the first season. I just thought that was amazing. It's probably him and Idris Elba and Ruth Jones, and that were just such an amazing duo, and I loved it so much.
And it's Idris Elba. Who wouldn't want to star with him?
I mean, I know he's amazing.
So one last word on Emmerdale before we move on. Holly's died, unfortunately, but as we have seen in So Planned on many, many an occasion, nothing is impossible. So if they called you up and said, we'd like you to come back for a cameo episode, would you be up for it?
I'd never say never. I mean, I had the time of my life working there, and my best friends work on the show, both cast and crew. So, yeah, I'd never say never. I'm really just had the best time there.
So, what is your dream role? What is your dream role?
I think to be in a British drama or a British film or a really cool play on the West End. I absolutely love Shane Meadows. He's been my favourite director and writer and filmmaker for as long as I can remember. I remember watching Dead Man's Shoes with Paddy Considine and just thinking, I need to work with these people. And they are the reason I do what I do. I love improvisation and just having the opportunity just to be on set with a group of amazing actors and creatives and just be able to play and just bounce off each other would just be the most amazing opportunity. So yeah, I think probably to work with Shane Meadows would be my biggest dream, because that's the first dream I can remember having within acting, just to work with him and everyone that he works with. Every actor that he's ever worked with is incredible, all of them. So yeah.
You did mention earlier about how you're in the music business, I've saw, but would you like to go into it if the opportunity presented itself?
Oh, I don't know if I'd want to go into I love music.
Yeah.
I absolutely love music. There isn't a day where I don't listen to music. And I go to live music events as often as I can. But I probably would go into the music industry, but I love musicals, so I'd love to be in more musicals.
I've really, really grown to love musicals over the last few years. I really have.
Yeah. They're just so amazing. I mean, there's so many different and diverse and amazing musicals now. They're not just the old school ones. There's so many current and modern stories being told that are really important through the form of musicals, and I think it's amazing. Everyone's talking about Jamie. I think is one of my favourite musicals. I've watched it 6 times, which I'm not ashamed to admit it. But I just absolutely love it, and it's a real feel good musical, I don't know, I think it's really life-affirming and really important. And I think musicals are very powerful. You can really reach a lot of people and spread some really amazing messages through music and dance and storytelling. So,
I've got a recommendation for you since you mentioned theatre. Before we had lockdown, I actually went to see Anne Juliet at Shaftesbury Avenue, and it is absolutely brilliant, and it's funny as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll try. Well, when things all kick off again, hopefully, soon. Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing. I'm part of a group of 26 actors at the moment. We're called Isolation Ensemble.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to raise money for regional theatre because obviously regional theatre is so important. I mean, anyone in the creative industry knows that. You know, without regional theatre, there's it cuts a lot of opportunities down, you know, for anyone, whether you're an actor, a dancer, a musician, a writer, director, stage manager, front of house. Regional theatres where creatives and people in the creative industry get most of their first opportunities, and then they work their way up, or then they get an opportunity in the West End. It's very rare that people just go straight into the West End. So that's why I think regional theatre is so important, just for opportunity, and it makes theatre accessible, it's affordable, you know. Some people can't get to London or can't afford to get to London for whatever reason, and regional theatre is just a really great thing for making it accessible and affordable and providing opportunity. So that's why I think it's so important that we need to kind of fight to keep regional theatre alive and going.
Yeah. I entirely agree. I could not agree with you any more on that point. Right, so as a lot of people have done, a lot of actresses or actors go behind the camera as well as in front of it. So is that an avenue that you'd like to explore?
Yeah, I do it quite a lot, actually. Not a lot of people know, but I produced my boyfriend's first feature film.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, The Salt Trail. I don't know if it's online at the moment because it's doing some screenings, but it's called The Salt Trail. And basically, when I left Emmerdale the first time, we went travelling for 6 months and we made a feature film. It was a surf film, travel film, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and we just wanted to create something together. I'm often assisting at shoots or behind the camera, set dressing or running. I get called the dog's body a lot because I kind of do anything. I don't really mind if I'm the actors on set or any. I just love being on set. I love being in the theatre. I love being on film and TV set. I just love being around creative people within the industry, and I'll kind of do anything. So they all call me the dog's body because I will kind of just do anything as long as I'm amongst it. So.
Yeah, so shall we talk? We'll talk a bit more about the movie, shall we? What exactly is it about?
Oh, so my boyfriend's new movie that is coming out in September, hopefully. It's called Chasing the Present. And basically, about 4.5 years ago, my boyfriend and a friend of his, we were all just discussing how there's a global pandemic before this actual pandemic of mental health. You know, everyone was struggling. Everyone seemed to be really suffering with their mental health. Whether it was depression, anxiety, suicide rates were going up. People were just feeling lost. And after lots of discussions, my boyfriend and a friend, Mark Waters and James Sebastiano, decided to try and do something. And as Mark's a filmmaker and James is someone who just wants to help. He's an amazing guy. They decided to try and create a film together to go and find some answers and explore different routes and ways of living and alternative therapies and what people could do to kind of heal themselves from within, and just help people with their mental health and help anyone who is feeling lost, anxious or depressed. And it was an independent film, so they've both given a lot of time, money, energy and effort. They've travelled, they've spoken to so many amazing people within the field, and they've made the most beautiful film that I honestly think has changed my life, and I think it will help so many people. And to go with the film, they've also done a summit in collaboration with Hay House, and it's a mental health summit where they've got loads of professionals and people within that kind of world and talking about different ways of living, meditation, healthy living, yoga, and it's really, really amazing. So yeah, that's out now, the summit with Chasing the Present for Hay House, and it's online. And I think that will really help. Well, I know that's really helping people, and people are really enjoying that and finding it really helpful. And then the film will be out in September, and I was production assistant on that. So I was really happy to be involved with such an amazing project.
Sounds amazing from what you've just said. So we know what one of your passions is. So let's talk about what the rest of your passions are, because you're a patron, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm patron for Sunflower's Children Action Group. That's a group providing, it provides special days for children with life-limited illnesses or anything that limits their life or quality of life, and also children that are threatened, in one way or another. So basically, any children who haven't got the same opportunities that other children may do, whether it's due to situation they're living in or illness or life-threatening illness, the Sunflowers Children Action Group try and give them some great days and great memories and a bit of escape and a bit of joy. And so it's a group of people who really are bringing a lot of joy to some children's lives. And not just children, the families, and the siblings who often are suffering just as much, but because they're not the child that's poorly, they often get overlooked. So it's just, they're an amazing group of people who really are bringing a lot of joy and some beautiful days to families and children that are suffering. And then I'm also a patron for Zebedee Management. I'm an ambassador and a patron for Zebedee Management. And my friend Zoe Proctor started it up. She was a plus-size model, and she just, as she got older and had children and looked a bit more closely at the industry, or maybe stepped back from it a little bit, and after being so involved in the industry, she realised there's a real gap and a real lack of representation for models with disabilities and alternative appearances. There wasn't anyone representing those people, people who are so talented and amazing but happen to have a disability or an alternative appearance, and there's no one really representing these people in the acting or model industry or the creative industry. So Zoe and Laura, her sister-in-law, started up Zebedee Management, and they started a performance art group that was every Tuesday night, and it's an amazing place. I used to go every week, and we all come together and sing and dance and talk and share and are creative, and that's an amazing safe space they've created for people with disabilities or additional needs. And then they've also started the agency, which is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more proud to be associated with it and involved. And they're just providing really amazing opportunities. They're really changing the way the industry is. It needed more diversity and equality and honest representation of the people of Britain and the world. Everybody doesn't walk around looking perfect, well, in society's opinion of what perfect is. There are people in wheelchairs, there are people with missing limbs, there are people with scars, there are people with vertigo and albinism, and of all different looks, and everyone's beautiful, and that's a true representation of people. So we really urged people to use our models, to advertise their clothes and whatever they're doing, to tell their stories, to be in the TV shows, to be a true representation of people living in the world. And it's been amazing. I mean, one of the models, Ellie, she was just modelling for Gucci. We've had the whole campaign at River Island where labels are for clothes, not people. And it's just really, really great to see a true representation and also models being used because they're brilliant and they're talented and they're really lovely people, not for tokenism. So Zoe and Laura have really made such an impact on the industry, and it's just amazing, and I'm just so proud and inspired by them, and just seeing everything that they're doing and the lives they're changing and the opportunities that they're creating. It's really, really amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then aside from that, obviously I'm also an ambassador for another friend that I'm incredibly proud of, my best friend Jordan Brompton. 4 years ago, her and her friend Lee started a startup called My Energy. they really wanted to make a difference in the world and were really passionate about renewable energy and green energy. And they started My Energy, which is basically they're a UK innovator and manufacturer of green energy products for smart home and energy management.
Yeah.
So they're really just trying to make like solar energy and just renewable energy. They're trying to make it accessible for everyone, because obviously the sooner we all stop burning fossil fuels and driving really polluting cars, the better. And they've actually created the world's safest and the world's best electric vehicle charger called the Zappy. So it's just amazing, from this small town I'm from, just to see these people really changing the world and taking really brave, amazing, big steps. And yeah, I'm really, really proud and honoured to have been asked to be part of these initiatives and these companies. So it's really amazing.
Wow. You are quite a busy little bee, aren't you?
Say that again.
You are quite a busy little bee, aren't you?
I am.
So much going on.
To keep busy.
Because I was about to, because I'm a petrol head, and if I must admit, I think there is a bit of concern that electric is the future and petrol cars will soon be a thing of the past. So it's actually quite a smart thing to invest in, really. Yeah,
I just feel like we need to change. I'm vegan. I try and live as green and eco as I can, and just try and I try and be a good human on the planet and be kind to people and the world. And so for me, I just think it's really, really important. I mean, I'm not in a position at the moment to have an electric car, but fingers crossed one day I will be.
Hopefully we all will have.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers crossed,
hopefully.
Yeah. So, if people want to find you on social media, how would they go about it?
So I'm on Instagram. It's Sophie.Powles. And I'm on Twitter. I think it's Sophie Powles, and I think that's about it. I'm not the most active person. I'm a bit of a nana with technology. But I do try my best, and I keep in touch with a lot of family and friends. I think the thing I love about Instagram, it's almost like a postcard, to like everyone keeping in touch and seeing what everybody's up to. So it's quite cool, I think. I think it can be quite a powerful thing if used in the right way to spread some really powerful, amazing messages.
Wow, I shall immediately follow you on Instagram. And on being the first ambassador and patron I've had on my chats, Sophie Powles, everyone.
Thank you. So lovely talking to you, Dino.